When you picture a farm, you probably think of rolling green hills, a red barn, maybe a tractor. Well, I want you to forget all of that. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the farms of the future, where data, drones, and AI are completely changing the game of how we feed the world.
So, to really get why this high tech revolution is even happening, we first have to understand the new reality that farmers are up against. And honestly, in a lot of ways, it's like they're having to learn how to farm on a whole new planet. And that leads us to the single biggest question facing the entire industry. Our world is transforming so fast, you have to wonder, is there any way our farms can possibly keep up? I mean, the pressure they're under is just immense, and it's coming from all sides. First off, you've got a global population that just keeps on growing, which means we need more food. On top of that, the climate is getting more and more unpredictable. And we have to do all of this with the resources we have right here on one finite planet. It's really the perfect storm. So how in the world do you solve a problem that massive and that complex? Well, it turns out the answer isn't just about working harder, it's about working smarter. You do it by making the farm itself intelligent. And that's where the digital revolution in agriculture comes in. So, the brain of this new smart farm? It's all powered by predictive analytics. Think about it. Instead of just reacting to problems after they happen, AI allows farmers to practically see into the future. It can analyze tons of data to predict, say, a pest outbreak before it starts, or schedule maintenance on a tractor before it breaks down. It's a total game changer. So, how does this actually work? Well, it's a pretty straightforward three-step process. First, you have the data coming in. We're talking from satellites way up in orbit and tiny little sensors right there in the soil. Then, the AI gets to work, sifting through all that information to find hidden patterns a human being could never, ever spot. And finally, all that complexity gets translated into a simple, actionable insight on a farmer's dashboard. Raw data becomes a clear decision. And if you're thinking this is all just some far-off sci-fi concept, well, take a look at this. A solid majority, that's over 60%, of large farms have already adopted these AI systems. This isn't coming, it's already here. And we're talking about real companies right now that are the engines behind this. Platforms like Cropin and Climate FieldView are taking these massive floods of complex data, from weather, from soil health, from satellite images, and they're turning it all into simple recommendations like, hey, water this section 15% less tomorrow, or you might want to scout that back corner for potential blight. So, okay, if the AI is the farm's brain, then you can think of IoT sensors, the Internet of Things, as its nervous system. These are all the tiny connected devices scattered throughout the fields, constantly feeling and reporting back on everything. We're talking soil moisture, nutrient levels, tiny shifts in the weather. They provide that nonstop real-time data that makes all this precision care possible. Okay, so we've got the brains of the operation, but a brain isn't much used without a body to carry out its commands, right? So let's shift gears to the physical revolution and see how all those digital insights are actually being put to work by robots out in the field. And the difference here is just, it's night and day. In the old days, you'd just spray an entire field with herbicides and hope for the best. Now, a robot with a camera can identify a single weed and target just that one plant. Instead of backbreaking manual weeding, you have an autonomous machine doing it 24/7. It's a move from brute force to absolute surgical precision. Meet the new farmhands. You've got drones flying overhead acting as these amazing eyes in the sky, mapping out the health of every single plant. Down on the ground, you have specialized robots doing delicate jobs like picking strawberries and massive GPS-guided tractors that can plow a field with centimeter-level accuracy, whether it's day or night. 13%. Just look at that number. Let it sink in for a second. What in the world could that possibly represent? Well, get this. That is the explosive speed at which this whole market is growing. A 13% compound annual growth rate means the precision farming sector isn't just getting bigger, it's accelerating. It's a huge signal that this is a massive industry-wide shift. All right, so this tech is obviously impressive, it's efficient, but what does it all mean for the planet, for the bigger picture? Let's zoom back out and look at how this can all be used to harvest a better and hopefully more sustainable future. One of the most exciting ideas here is something called carbon farming. And this is way more than just reducing emissions. This is about actively turning farms into giant carbon sponges.
using specific techniques to pull CO2 out of the atmosphere and lock it away safely in the soil. It's about making farming part of the solution to climate change.
And the tools that are making this possible are just incredible. For instance, there's this stuff called biochar. It's a special kind of charcoal that basically supercharges the soil's ability to store carbon. Then you have digital traceability tools, where you can scan a QR code on an apple in the store and see exactly what farm it came from. And of course, there are gene editing technologies like CRISPR, which can help create crops that are naturally tougher against drought or pests, meaning less chemicals.
So when you boil it all down, the goal here is huge, right? It's really two things at once. First, to dramatically shrink farming's environmental footprint, and second, to give all of us this incredible, unprecedented transparency into exactly where our food is coming from.
So, you take the data, you add the robots, you mix in this incredible new focus on sustainability, and what do you get? Well, it's pretty clear we are living through the next great agricultural revolution.
I mean, think about it. For thousands of years, farming has been about three things: soil, water, and sun. But now, you absolutely have to add data, algorithms, and connectivity to that list. The very definition of what it even means to be a farmer is being rewritten right before our eyes.
And that leaves us with one final and really critical question to think about. As our farms stop being just fields and start becoming these vast, interconnected, data-driven ecosystems, who is ultimately going to control all that data, all that technology, and by extension, who will own the future of food itself?